Okay, so in the last session we discussed about DB configuration, right? So we'll continue that session. I'm going to record this session, so we'll share that to Rahul. So we'll go ahead. Okay. So first we'll discuss about insertion, how to insertion. So after that we'll see update and stored procedure, how we'll work with stored procedure and all. So this is a configuration I already shown you. This is a configuration. So there are different ways we can do actually. So sometimes we can keep yeah. Oh, sorry. Can you see now? Yeah. Okay. So this is a DB connector. Whenever you want to, just you can drag and drop from the palette itself, right side palette. This is the database connector. In this case, I'm just trying to insert the information, so that's why we choose the operation as insert. So this is the configuration. So database URL. So it is look like a Java only almost. So just how we'll enter the Java, so that URL. So same way here. Here I'm using the type 4 driver. So that is nothing but a MySQL. Okay. So this is a host name. So this is a driver name. So JDBC MySQL. And then so local host. It is nothing but a remote address. In this case, I'm trying to connect from a local from my database from my MuleSoft to localhost database itself. So that's why I entered localhost. In case of remote address, we have to give a remote address. So next one is this is a port number of MySQL. So next one is schema for the schema of the MySQL, username and then password. So this is a URL of database connection. It's look like a Java only. So if you are not aware of this URL information, so generally this information is shared by some other people, in some companies. So people are exclusively working on the database, so they will share that information, that host address. Next one is port number. Any changes there? By default port number is 3306 for MySQL. If any changes, they will share us. Next one is the schema name, they will share us username and password. This is the URL. So next one is driver class name. So this is the driver class name, com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So in case of this is the MySQL, that's why this is the driver name, com.mysql.jdbc.driver. If it is a Oracle, it's a something bit different actually. So oracle.jdbc.driver, something like that. So based on your database, the driver name get changed. So, but URL almost same. So in case of your Oracle will get different. Otherwise, remaining data all same. Okay. So do you have any questions in this URL and then driver name? So once you enter the data, so you can test the connection here itself actually. So your connection is working or not, you can test here itself. No need to deploy the application and test it. So that is not required. After entering the database credentials, database URL, you can test here itself. So URL and then driver class name. So if you click test connection, it will tell you anything is wrong. If you enter anything is wrong, so then you can correct and you can adjust it. So then you can test the connection itself. Okay. So that is the connection information. after that, so you have to choose the operation insert. So means in this case I'm trying to use insert operation. Like then based on your requirement, you have to choose which operation you want, either select or insert or update, delete, then stored procedure, bulk execute. Like that we have a different operation. So in this I selected, that is operation called insert. So this is already explained to you, so this configuration and all. So next one is here, we have a different types of queries. Three types of queries we have: parameterized query, so dynamic query, next one is prompt template. So here parameterized query means it's equal to prepared statement in the Java. So if you use a prepared statement in the Java, so in place of wherever you are send the information, I mean we are trying to insert the information, in place of data it will go as a question mark internally. So that is for secure. So parameterized means it's almost equal to prepared statement in the Java. Okay. So if you are not aware prepared statement in the Java, so prepared statement is one of the interface in the Java. So in that we have some methods are there. We have to use that methods to insert the data, execute the query kind of methods are there. So interface means, coming to interface again. So prepared statement is one of the interface. So interface contains only abstract methods. We have to override the implementation actually. So that is nothing but an interface. So here a parameterized query is equal to prepared statement in the Java. So when you use it internally, what happened? Wherever the values we are sending, so that is going to database like a question mark. Each and everything is that one or two Reddy Venkat something like that. So each and every value, so it will go as a question mark. In place of value, it will go as a question mark. So internally, it will understand that prepared statement and all. So there is internal thing. So that is for secure thing. So a recommended way is to recommended type of query is parameterized query. So because it's a secure than other. Okay, so that is about parameterized query. So here I am using parameterized query. So if you are aware that how to write the queries, same way, same queries only. So I'm not writing any other way. Similar query. Insert into the table name, followed by how many parameters you have in that particular table. So there is a person see the table in my database. Hey, hi Rahul, how are you, man? Sorry for the late. Yeah, no issue. So we just started actually. So that day we discussed about database configuration and all. So we're trying to insert the data. So one of the operation we choose. So that's what I was explaining. Okay. Yeah. So this is the query for that. So I'm trying to insert the data into persons table. So I choose the parameterized query. So a recommended type of queries in these three types of queries. Three types of queries you can write it. So recommended way is so parameterized query only. It is a secure than others. So this is a query. So this is a table. Insert into table name, followed by how many columns you have. So that columns you have to mention. So next one is values. Same Oracle or else MySQL query only. Insert into table name. So followed by field names. So then values, whatever the values you are going to insert it, that values we have to mention, ending with terminator. So that is a query. That's it. So whenever you execute it, so this record will go and insert into the that particular person table, right? So we'll see MySQL. Root is the password by default. Show databases. If you click the enter to show databases, it will show list of databases. By default, also some databases are there. So here I am using company database. use database, that is a common command. So next one is MySQL is bit command based actually, if you have to enter all this command. So next one is use tables, otherwise show tables. Use database and show tables. Will show list of tables. Purpose is person, so select star from persons table. Okay, so as of now we have two records are there. If you want to see describe, you can see describe. Okay, these are the columns I'm going to insert in that. So let's execute, let's run this. So I'm deploying that application. I'm running in a debug mode. That dialog will come up. So click S for the dialog. So it will change the perspective. So this will change as a different perspective. So in Eclipse you know that, right? So you can see different perspectives. So the screen will be look different way in the normal mode, in the mule debug mode, like that. So this is nothing but a perspective. It will change the perspective. You can see it's a deployed successfully status. So let's try to run that application. So URL we have to enter into the browser, localhost 8017 followed by insert. HTTP localhost 8017 followed by insert. It's already went. No, is not found. Yeah. So DB insert response inserted successfully one record. So this is a response coming from the database. If the record inserted successfully, you will get this message. So previously two records are there. Now third record is 102. So 102, this last record I just inserted. This is the first operation. So do we have any questions in this? I just choose a insert operation. So I choose a type of query is parameterized. So then I will write the query itself. So here I just entered the hard-coded values, but in case of real time, or else in case of a project, if you are in project, so then we have to choose this value coming from the payload. So means here if you are enter any payload from the user point of view, so from the user you will enter some data. From the payload we have to get dynamically using MEL, using mule expression language. Here I enter it will support all the MEL expression actually. See this, I just enter control space bar. It will support MEL expression payload dot. So whatever the value you are getting, that payload dot you can enter actually. So what happened that time, it will come as a dynamic value. Now I just entered a static. Okay, so that is about insert operation. Similarly update also. For update, so we have to choose the operation update here. So then query is like this. I want to update the person address where person and equal to something like 102. Okay, so configuration wise same only. So once you enter the configuration, so that will take automatically for each and that application itself, because it will store in the global element. So automatically it will take that same operation, this URL and driver name. No need to enter a name. Whenever you use the drag and drop the database connector, automatically it will take the previous configuration. If you want to change it, then you can change it also, but by default it will take it. So then here I choose the update operation. So this is the query for that. I'm trying to update the record. So whenever you save it, automatically deploy, not redeploy again, automatically deploy. I'm just trying to enter the DTO. Okay, see this DB updated response, one record updated successfully, means record that message will get from the database. Actually, see here, up to here I enter DB update response, one records updated. See this, the payload is nothing but one. This one will getting from the database, actually remaining all I enter. So DB update response payload, once you that is done successfully, the database will return. I will show you that one also. Database will return one, means how many records updated, that will return you. So that I am captured and trying to display it. So this is a database. So now what is the payload? Payload is nothing, actually we are not getting any data from the user. So payload is null. So now see, so DB success, so see the payload, so coming from the database. So if you are updating one record, right, so that's why getting one record updated, that is coming from the database. Now the payload is one. I capture that payload, I choose that set payload. So in that payload I return hard-coded message, DB updated response, and then records updated. So this is a dynamic value, whatever we are getting, that one, right. I'm trying to get that. Okay, so it is pretty much simple only. So any questions as of now? Update and insert. Similarly create also, just it's based on your query. So how will frame the query, so that is based on that. If you write the create query, so it will create it. So that time what happened, we have to choose select. Select operation is for getting the information also. If you want to get the information, you can get it. So here bit complex is stored procedure, actually. So people prefer stored procedure. Why? Because in the DB, so people will create some procedures. Procedure is nothing but a combination of multiple tables. You can write the logic. We can write the logic and then we can get that information. So for that we have to use that procedure calling. We have to use this stored procedure. So we'll discuss that one also. see here how we'll use the procedure calling. So first we have to create the procedure in the backend. Capture information. So this is a way to create the procedures. See this. So create procedure. So followed by procedure name. So in that we have to mention. So in parameter, out parameter actually. So in parameter and out parameter means suppose once you create a procedure will expect some in parameter, will return some out parameter actually. So that is nothing but in parameter. In parameter means so we are giving input to the procedure. So that is nothing but a in parameter. So procedure return some data. So based on our in parameters input. So that is nothing but a out parameter. So while creating a procedure, we have to tell that so which one is the out parameter, which one is the in parameter means which one it will take it, which one it will take it. So that is nothing but in parameter. Which one it will return, that is nothing but out parameter. So that way we have to mention that in the procedure itself. Okay, here get employee ID. So this is a person ID in out. So both also same. I mean in parameter person ID it was taking, so it will return also. It will return also. So that's why I mentioned both in out. So then we have to that similar way. If we create a table, we have to give that return type and all, right? Similarly here also same thing. So this is the field name. This is the return type of that. How much length it will take it, and the next one is last name, so it will return as a parameter. So and return type is varchar, there is a string, it will allow 255 characters. Similarly first name is an out, address is an out, and then city is an out. Means it will take only person ID is an in parameter. It will take person ID as in parameter, it will display also. So there is nothing but it will return also out parameter. Okay, so this is the way to create the procedure. So create procedure followed by procedure name. So in that how many parameters, in parameters, out parameters we have to mention. So next one is begin. So this procedure language begin. So next one is in the select star from person where person ID equals something, right? So means not only single query you can write multiple queries combination also you can write it actually. So according to this procedure, so whenever we call that procedure, we have to send person ID for that. So means that is an parameter of procedure. So when I pass the parameter as a person ID, so it will consume it. It will use internally select star from employees where person ID equal person ID, right? So then it will fetch the information. It will display as actually. Means how will call this procedure? This is a way call get employee ID of 101. So when you call get employee ID of 101, that 101 will place a sit into person ID. So we'll give the answer of below. Okay, see this. So call get employee ID 101. So because here it will display multiple values. So means here I'm not writing any primary key kind of thing. So that's why it was ignoring. So if you pass, it will display all the employee IDs. So this is a way to create the procedure. So and then to call the procedure. Okay. So for calling from our MuleSoft, so then this is a way. So whatever you are going to write, right? This is a way to call the procedure. So in real time scenario, so when I will use this type of procedures, right? So sometimes database people will write the logic in the database itself, right? So if they will write, our job will be easy to get the data. Otherwise, we need to write so much logic, our middleware, to get the information, right? Suppose requirement is like this. I want to get the dollar amount. Means the dollar amount is every day got changed, right? Every day got changed. So in the middle of operation, in the middle of the service, I want to manipulate some opportunity amount, right? We're trying to create an opportunity, right? So I want to calculate that opportunity amount. So I'm going to buy some thousand Cisco adapters. So the 1000 Cisco adapters cost I want to calculate in the middle. So we can't able to create in the starting itself, means in the GUI itself, because so the dollar amount keep on change. So that's why we will keep the dollar amount in the database, right? So whenever you trying to create opportunity, it will come to the middleware, and from middleware, so we are trying to talk to the database guy. So boss, can you give me that what we call that opportunity cost, total cost? He is going to create. He is going to calculate based on our input. We are sending opportunity details. Opportunity, how many adapters you want, that quantity, that whole opportunity information will give to the database guy. He will calculate internally because we have dollar amount, means for that purpose we have to use stored procedure, right? So that calculation and all, so it will do in the backend itself. If suppose that guy doesn't do, what we'll do, we need to create that whole operation we have to do in the middleware itself. What operation it is? We have to fetch the dollar amount. We have to multiply into your quantity and all whole things. We have to do it in the middleware itself. So what happened here in this case, in this particular scenario, if you pass the opportunity details to the database guy, the procedure guy, so that opportunity ID, opportunity amount, that user details and all, if you send it, he will getting as an in parameter. Then what he will do, he already aware that dollar amount, right? Because that everyday updating happened by in the database, right? That's why. So he will take the input from us, that as an input parameter. He will calculate that part in the procedure itself. He will return as a amount. He will return as a total amount, opportunity amount. Then there is a out parameter he will return. So we'll capture that amount. So then we'll go ahead next level. You are getting right. So that type of operations, whatever the manipulations, right? So whatever the manipulations, they will done in the database itself. So that time we'll go for what procedure, because why will go that procedure and again. So here for calculating a opportunity, for calculating multiplying that opportunity into dollar amount. So for that we need multiple tables information, like opportunity table you want. Next one is dollar amount, where that is in other table might be. So and then user information, you need to check it, that user is exist or not. If that user is not exist in the Salesforce, then he have to return back user does not exist, then create the user, then calculate the amount again. So that type of whole information, so he will talk to the procedure guy, will talk to the multiple tables simultaneously, then he calculate the amount. So suppose if we want to do that manipulation, that calculation in middleware, again we have to talk multiple tables, means multiple database callings we have to do it. For avoiding that type of multiple database callings, multiple database hittings, so why don't we write in the procedure, then call all the tables in the procedure itself, calculate it, return the amount. That whole logic, so we can write in that procedure. Then from the wheel perspective, so just we'll call that procedure directly, so we'll get the information, then we'll head to the target system. You are getting right? So that type of scenarios will go for that stored procedure. So if you have any questions, we'll discuss. Hello, guys, do you have any questions?
No, no, Venkat.
Good. So you hope you understand the scenario, right? So I'm saying only one scenario. So simple thing. So whenever if you want to talk multiple tables simultaneously. So that time will better way. It's better to go stored procedure actually, because if you use middleware, that multiple database hittings required actually. The database hitting is bit expensive, right? So that's why we'll go for procedure. We'll write whole logic in the procedure. Simply we'll call that procedure. So that's better way. So we can increase the performance also if you go that. Okay. So in this particular case, how I am trying to call in that procedure. So we have to choose the operation type as a stored procedure. Okay. So next one is here calling the procedure. Call get employee person ID. Get employee person ID. Okay. So that is the procedure name. Call followed by procedure name. So next one is here. Observe the syntax. We should follow same thing actually. Otherwise, we'll get unable to get that information. So we should follow same syntax. So call followed by procedure name. So next one is person ID, last name, first name, and address and city. So whatever it is, either it is a in parameter or out parameters. All parameters we have to mention here. In the procedure, how many parameters we have? So that whole parameters we have to mention, either it's a in parameter or out parameter, no matter. So we have to enter all the values in the procedure itself. So get call procedure name. So next one is we have to mention parenthesis, we have to mention colon followed by that field name, person ID, last name, first name, address, and then city. Okay, so this is a way to call the procedure. After that, we have to tell the connector. So what are the input parameters? What are the output parameters? We have to mention. So here, bottom of that. So whenever you choose that stored procedure and parameterized, this box automatically will come, this text area. Okay. Further, if you want to add the parameters, you have to click plus. If you click plus, automatically it will come a new row. New row. Observe here, new row it's getting. In this, you have to enter the parameter name, whatever the parameter name it is. We have to enter the parameter name. So that should be equal to top of that. Whatever you mention here, right? Same thing we have to mention in the below. So person ID, we have to enter the person ID parameter name. So next one is here. In this case, we have to tell that which type of parameter it is. Either it's an in parameter, means it's a receiving of database, or else sending from the database, means sending the procedure or else receiving the procedure. We have to tell that actually. Either it's an in parameter or else out parameter or else in out both. So it will take the data and then it will display, it will send the data. That time also the parameter included. So that is the thing, in parameter and then out parameter, in out parameter both. So here whenever you drag and drop, that time only this drop down it will appear actually. Otherwise if you see here, it's not appearing, right? If you select it, it will appear. Okay, otherwise it's not appearing. Observe here, when I select it, that time only this drop down will get. Okay, so that is the thing. So next one is value. So value is a dynamic value, so it will support the mail expression language. From the payload we can take it, from the expression we can take it, from the variables it will take it. So if we store the variable, we already discussed about variables, right? We store the variable, then we can get the value from the variable. That is flow var start that particular field, particular variable name will mention, we'll get it. Like similarly session, similarly expression, from the expression you can take it, or else from the payload also will take it actually. So this is a dynamic, this is a value, what value you are going to send it. So in case of out, there is no value, right? In case of out, not required to mention any value, because we are getting the value from the database. So that's why I'm not required to mention here. So next one is in place of input, we have to mention the value. Okay. So coming to type. So what type of data it is? So you are going to enter some parameter. So that is what type it is. Whatever the database, in the database you mentioned, right, type, same type you have to choose. Almost all data types are there here. So in the drop down itself, you have to choose the type it is. Either integer, character, or else boolean, or else something like suppose if it is images like blob, binary large object, glob, character large object. So whatever the database, whatever the type it is, then you have to choose the type. Okay, clear, right? So this is the way we have to mention in parameter, out parameter, and then calling the procedure. These are important here actually. We have to mention same way colon followed by parameters. Then what are the parameters we are using the query? So we have to enter all the parameters here. If you miss any parameter, so suppose if you miss city out parameter, it won't get the output actually. So that's why what are the parameters required? You have to mention all the parameters as a in parameter or else out parameters based on your requirement. Okay, that's it. I'm trying to call that data. Let's see. So it's got deploying. So it's got deployed. This path is called procedure. Okay, getting the request. Let's see this what it will return. So see this, we got the size 6. You can see here also in case of MEL. When I click that, it will get the pop-up. You can see here what data we are getting. So we're converting to object to JSON because after getting the data, so you will get as an object from the database. I'm trying to convert that object to JSON, so that's why there is a transformer called object to JSON. I use the transformer. I just drag and drop, and I'm trying to display the data in the browser. See this? So whatever the records we have, keywords, whole records we are getting. With 101, right? This is a 101 record. So in this case, actually, we are getting all the records, but here, why? Because we are not mentioning any primary key and foreign key kind of thing. I just create a table. That's why that condition is not happening. Condition check is not happening. You are clear? So this is a way to get the data. Once you get the data, so how we want, you can use it actually. It will return as a, it's kind of a JSON object, right? So I'm returning as a JSON object. I use that object to JSON. So that will return as a JSON object. So then from the JSON, we have to use that data. We have to display it. Now we have to send back to the target system actually. So that is nothing but a GUI. In the GUI guy, he will parse that JSON object. He will display the data. Okay. So that is about database operations. So do you have any questions? Here, tell me.
If I want to update multiple records at the same, right now we don't have any.
Okay, so Rahul, okay, so Rahul has some question. So like multiple here operation got changed actually. If you want to update bulk, okay, no? So that time you have to choose bulk execute, bulk execute. So here we have to write the query. How will do the bulk execute? So then it will execute it actually.
Okay. The same way insert also.
Yes, same way insert also, same way update also.
Okay. Suppose any restrictions like suppose having 10 records, I
Hmm.
want to insert only 5 records.
So that time, I mean, before itself you have to filter that time. So suppose you want to only insert, so we are getting input as a 10 records, but on some parameter basis we have to split it actually. Suppose we are getting a 10 cases, right? We are getting a 10 cases. In that 5 cases are P1, 5 cases are P2, right? So priority basis. So you want to insert only P1 cases, not P2 cases, right? So high priority cases only you want to insert. So that time you have to filter that data. So before the database, you have to filter it, right? So then remaining data, whatever the payload that P1 cases, it will go and insert it. So that way you can do it, or else in the database it's not possible. In the query you can't split it actually. But before that we'll prepare that payload, then that payload we have to send to the database. Okay.
Suppose in the 10 records, if anything will be error on 6th record, now I don't want to insert the 6th record. Remaining records I need to insert.
That's yeah. That's based on your way of writing actually. So that day we saw that XA transaction, right? That XA transaction is nothing but a rollback. So if you choose that XA transaction, oh, it will roll back it actually. It will roll back it. That way you can do is other way is if that 6 records is getting failed, then we are doing custom exception strategy, right? It will go on it will go to the custom exception strategy. In the custom exception strategy, you can keep it rollback exception strategy. It will roll back all the records if you don't want to insert it. Rollback mechanism there here. So whatever you want and roll back, then you can roll back it. So any other questions?
No. So previous class I do have a question like
To discuss,
like
sorry.
no when
So do you have any questions on that? You can ask no issue. So we,
like you know
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
no when I'm trying to I mean Maven, so I could not run actually. So I don't know what it's coming like no different type of error exceptions when I take in different project.
Did you install the Maven? Did you configure the Maven?
No, I don't. So I have no I have downloaded Maven. They given a path, but
Yes.
not able to know synchronize that actually.
Okay. So then first step is we have to give it the path of the Maven. So whatever you told correct only. Apache Maven 3.3.9. I'm using 3.3.9. So this path we have to mention in our wherever you want to use it. Window preferences. Then you have to select type search for Maven. Here we have to give it
Yeah,
actually.
3.0.
You done right this one?
Yes,
If you test Maven configuration, it should be
same thing.
green. Yeah, good.
Yes.
So then that is the first step. After
So
that,
when I
yeah,
yes.
yeah, go ahead.
So I done this step. So when I know when I install Maven, so I'm getting like a different type of error exception. Like,
So means you are creating Maven.
not configured.
You are trying to create a Maven project,
No,
right?
no, I'm just create domain project. So in domain project, I created Maven.
Hmm. Okay.
So I'm getting like different type of exceptions. I don't know why they are.
So mean to say while creating domain project that time you are getting issue, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
Domain
that's
project. So I selected Maven.
yeah. You choose the Maven, right? That time you are getting, right?
Yes.
Generally it should not. So then means I guess it's unable to download some jar files. Might be that is the issue. So generally if you choose Maven, it will try to download so many related jar files actually. Might be that is
I
a
mean, can you
cause.
please elaborate why we use Maven actually? What is the purpose of Maven?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if you're
yeah, sure. So see here, I'm just trying to create a Maven project. So what happened here? So many related jar files it will try to download it. Might be in your case, any restriction, network restriction, you don't have admin rights, might be. So it's unable to download the jars. From the Google, it will
yeah.
try to download. It will try to download the jar files. See here, it was trying to download. Here it got failed, right? For your case.
Yes,
Hmm. So, yeah.
exactly.
So that is the cause actually. Might be it's unable to download the jar files. That's why build got failed. Okay.
I'm getting like two type of error exceptions.
Sorry. Okay. So might be
I mean,
might
I'm taking
be
the console actually.
yeah. Our one more issue might be this is also case actually. So just check in your JRE is there. Install JRE. Go to install JREs. Choose that install JREs. Here in place of JRE choose JDK. Might be that is the case. What was the exception you are getting? Just share me. Might be in that exception tools.jar it's unable to find out, right? Might be that is the case.
Okay.
Just capture the exception and share me. I will tell you the issue. So might be I was facing sometimes. So in case of here, by default,
So, when I try to call you, I mean, try to ping you in email, so you're not responding. So can you make sure that?
okay. So I'm not in available in Gmail actually. Just ping me in WhatsApp. I will come to Gmail. Then we'll discuss. Okay.
Okay, then. Okay.
So
Not an issue.
mostly that is the issue actually. So coming to your question. So what was the advantage of that mule domain project? So the major advantage is suppose here if you see we discussed three services, right? Just now insert, update, and then stored procedure, right? If you observe it, if you observe it, uh, yeah. See here for every time I'm entering the address here. If you observe here, I choose the address here, localhost 8017. Okay. For other thing, next one is insertion. In this case, again HTTP. So here again I choose the different port number and then the base card 8017. Then again base card is the different. Like that for everything we are entering the information into here itself, right? Suppose if you choose other project, that HTTP most of them we are using based on the requirement HTTP connect only, right? If it is a REST call, okay, now. So how many times you are using in your application, that many times you have to mention this one, right? Every time you have to enter the configuration. You are getting
Yes,
you are getting right. So
yes.
but in this case, if you go for domain project, so what was the advantage? That repetition you can avoid it. So see here, that whole thing, that whatever the HTTP thing, I am mentioning in the global config. So this is a mule domain project. In that mule domain project config.xml there, in that I'm mentioning that HTTP listener information. So this is a HTTP listener. So there is a host and port. Then whole thing I mentioned in the domain project. So here see the API properties. Here is the port number and then host name. So that whole thing we are mentioning the here. Now coming to your child project. This is a parent project, right? It's a domain is nothing but a parent project. Coming to your child project, where is the this is a Ping-based child project. Observe here. I'm not mentioning again actually. I just choose the top level configuration. I'm opening here. So see here, I'm not entering anything. HTTP connector configuration. It in the drop down will get that actually. HTTP listener configuration compicom domain. So wherever you mentioned right that the top level that is coming here automatically. Means if you establish the relation. So no need to create a configuration again. If you see here, that configuration automatically show you. See here, HTTP host to HTTP portal dynamically we are getting. So if not there domain project, then what we need to do? Again we have to create it. Again we have to create it, right? So this is one service. If you write multiple services, each and every service you have to create that configuration. That way, wherever the common properties. Suppose you are using a database connection, right? You are using a database connection. There is jar file is required. Whatever the jar file, whatever the database you are going to create it, that jar file is required. So if you mention in the top level, if you are trying to create a Maven project, right? So then pom.xml it will create. In the pom.xml, if you mention the jar file, the database jar file, right? Whatever the database you are going to create, that jar file if you mention, so no need to include in the all the services, right? In the top level domain project you mentioned, so you are using the domain project in the child projects also. No need to use that again that for POM file, again that dependency in the child forms, because in the parent POM already there. POM means if you create a Maven project, the pom.xml will come. In the pom.xml, we will keep it all the dependencies, all the jar files. You are getting that? So that type of common properties, wherever the common properties are there, we just pushed into the domain project. So then we are using a relation, right? Domain and parent-child relationship. So then automatically it will come. So how will establish the child and parent relationship? If you see here in the domain project, click that mule project.xml. Here we give the domain name. So what was the domain name? It is domain name is www.schoolspecialty.com. That is domain name I am giving. So that domain name in the child project we have to mention. Where is the child project? Ping. In the ping we have to mention. So see this, the domain name you are referring actually. Whatever the domain name you mentioned, that way chain relationship got created actually.
So fine. So can you tell me what is the difference between so what between difference between pom.xml and mule project.xml? So
No, totally different. No, pom.xml is nothing but to mention that whatever the dependencies, right? Whatever the dependencies in our project, like jar files, we have to mention all the dependencies here. Suppose see here, this is the jar file required for executing your project. This is the jar file, all the jar files, right? So generally, if you are aware normal project, we have to keep all the jar files.
only
Sorry.
the pom.xml is only for jar file.
Yes, dependencies. So generally in your normal project, we have to keep all the jar files into lib folder, right?
Yes.
But here POM will come into the picture. In the POM, we are not required to download and keep it into lib folder actually. It will taken care. It will download it. Your POM will download. That is talking about Maven actually. The dot m2 folder will create. Then in the .m2 it will download that jar file. It will place into .m2. See this, like that it will create it. All the jar files it will download and it will place it here. When you deploy this project, when you build that project, it will download and it will place into .m2 folder when you create a Maven project. Okay, no? So this is a difference actually. In the POM we have to mention all the dependencies, all the required jar files we have to mention. But coming to project.x, meal project.xml, it's related to MuleSoft. It's related to MuleSoft and then it's related to environment specific generally. So if you mention here, if it is a dev, it will talk to dev.property. It's kind of environment specific. Now we are in dev environment, it will talk to dev.properties. If you go to the production, then it will talk to production.properties. Means we have to keep some properties, some external properties you have to keep it, right? But environment specific. We'll see that one also. So how we'll get it, how we'll get that external properties information to anyone, we will see that. Okay, now?
Okay.
Okay, so,
And I have
yeah,
not
yeah, tell me.
like yesterday project, same the assignment too.
Yeah,
I just created I just taken a read a XML file.
okay,
So after reading that, I'm unable to write that XML data. Like I'm taking a HTML connector.
okay,
So that I mentioned metadata in it. So I copied XML data in metadata.
okay.
So after that, I'm not able to read that actually. So how to segregate that each and everything? I just use split
Yes, yes.
ladder.
That's what I told you, know. So we have to use XPath. We have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use XPath, and first we have to convert it down to XML proper way. Okay, so then we have to use XPath. You can split it. You can split the data. No?
What is path actually?
XPath is nothing but from the XML we have to read the data. Suppose, see, after getting the data, we have to use this component down to XML, right? So that is, now it is purely XML type, right? After that, we have to use XPath like this. XPath is nothing but in the whole XML. If you want to get specific parameters in that, in the specific parameter, so where is the XML? I'll show you. Yeah, this is the XML, right? This is the XML. I want to get only this value. I want to get business unit from that. For that, you have to use this type of XPath actually. Whatever I shared that XML, that is in the form of this env envelope is the first parameter,
Yes.
body is the second
So
parameter.
in that we don't have any header part actually.
You don't have any
Header.
header, not there, I guess, only body. So that's why you kept like this. You have to use this. Then that time what happened, whatever the report bytes is nothing but a receipts data. That data it will segregate it actually. That tag, that report bytes tag is there now. Whatever the between the tags, right? Open tag and closing tag report bytes. That information will get it. Will store into the set payload, right? After that set payload, we need to decode it. You have to use mule component or else you have to use Java component, whatever. And you have to convert it to string. Then again I'm converting into proper XML. I'm trying to display it. Means I'm trying to get only that encrypted format data, right? So from this encrypted format data, I'm trying to decode it. I'm trying to display it as an XML.
Oh, yes, unknown you have taken a Java class or normal.
No, unknown is nothing but a that built-in service, mule built-in service.
So I could not find the built-in service. What is it actually? What is service?
Actually, directly we have to enter like this. We can't find that. These are nothing but a base 64 decoder is there. We have to mention like this. That component will come automatically. Base 64 decoder transformer, open tag and ending tag will just replace that statement, that's it. Okay.
Okay. Can you share me this actually?
Yeah, sure. I will share you this. Okay, no? I will share these two POCs and the recording session also.
Okay. And the third assignment also.
Sorry, third assignment. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Database.
So yeah, okay. On database, I will give you an assignment. Okay, no?
Yes. Yes.
Take. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.